Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. And in this video, what we're going to do is we're going to attempt to install this aftermarket rear sway bar made by EMPI onto my '78 Volkswagen bus. So stay tuned and see how I do it. So if any of you have ever owned a Volkswagen bus, bay window or earlier, and especially when you have the stock 14-inch rims and basically the stock suspension and everything, you'll know that one of the biggest issues is the body roll that we experience during cornering, or worse, in high crosswind situations when you're on the road, you can feel like you're getting blown over. There's several things you can do about that. Number one would be to maybe get a narrow beam, some wider and larger rims, and there's various other things, but I'm keeping my tires and wheels for the most part stock for a while. So I'm gonna make a few other modifications and see if that helps with the body roll in my situation here. And like I mentioned before, this is a '78 bus, but this EMPI sway bar is an add-on. It's completely aftermarket because there was no such OEM rear sway bar, only a front sway bar on these buses. So it's completely aftermarket for any model. So I imagine this one fits a lot of different models. It's an EMPI 9610. I bought this from California Imports, or SIP1. Check that website and see which one matches your year. But like I said, this is a '78 or a Late Bay bus, and I'll be installing it on that. It's for the most part a bolt-on retrofit, except for a couple holes we'll have to drill into our frame for these big U-bolts to retrofit that. So other than some drilling and some bolting up, that's about all the experience you'll need. So let's get started. Okay, so here's all the hardware that comes in that kit for the sway bar. And the very first step we're gonna do is we're gonna take these L brackets, we've got two of them, and notice there's a shorter side with a smaller hole in it. And we're gonna take that and we're gonna bolt this to each side of our shock towers. Let me show you that. Okay, so I got those L brackets mounted. Now, I actually had to go buy new bolts because my old bolts, that added thickness made them too short, and I couldn't get the nut on the back, so I bought new M12 fine thread bolts, like 10 mil longer, that's all I needed, and nuts. So now these brackets are on. Now I didn't tighten this down. It's just kind of in there, and I can move it around if I need to, and we'll torque down everything at the end. So I've got both of those on each side here. Now what we're going to do is I've got my bar just kind of laying across my rails here, and we're going to start fitting this hardware on here. Okay, so for each side, you should have one long 5/16 hex bolt with a nut, 4 cupped washers, 4 bushings, and 1 steel sleeve. Let me show you how to put those on. Okay, so I'm gonna just tilt this back a little bit, and I'm gonna take the top of I'm gonna take the bolt, and then this is from the very top. We're gonna slide 1 cup on. So we got the cup on upside down, and then we're gonna take our bushing with the flat side going toward the cup, like that. And that's going to go down into our arm. Then we're going to do the same thing. We're going to get the bushing and the cup, and this time it's reversed. We're going to go, the little flange side of the bushing goes up now. And then of course the cup goes on the flat side of the bushing. Then, once we got it there, we're going to take our spacer, and that's going to go on next. And then another cup upside down against the spacer. If you can't see it, I'll show you in a minute. Then another bushing, and then we're going to go on to the bracket. So we should have one more bushing left, and that's going to go up through the hole And then this bolt's barely long enough. Then we have one more cup washer, and that's going to go up against the bushing. And then finally, with our hands squeezing it together, our nut goes on the bottom. Hopefully I can just get this in a few threads, and I'll show you the arrangement one more time. There you have a close-up of it. You got your cup, bushing, flat side up against the cup, bushing, flat side up against the cup, spacer, cup, bushing with the flat side against the cup, and then your L bracket, bushing with the flat side against the cup, and then finally the nut. That's how it goes on. We'll do that on both sides. Okay, great. So now we have our bar kind of loosely draped down. We've got all the bolts on like I just showed on both sides. And again, because these bolts are loose, the shock bolts are loose, I can just lift it up and move it where I need to go. So I'm going to show you on this side. What I'm going to do is I got a couple of these elastic straps, and what I'm going to do is wrap it over the axle here and just wrap it up on both sides so that the bar is kind of in the position that we need. Okay, so I'm kind of on the outside of my van. I just kind of want to show you this vantage point here. Once we get this bar strapped in to where it's kind of where it needs to be, where it needs to ultimately be is we're going to have it bolted to our beam, our main beam. But notice that the main beam has this flange right here where these two pieces are pinch welded together. Well, our bracket's going to go up there, but if we pull it up, we're stopped with about, half an inch of gap because of this thin little lip right here. So what we need to do is I'm going to take my grease pen and mark on either side of this bar, and I'm going to cut away just an area of just this flange right there with my grinder. I'm going to grind this out such that the bar can fit up inside of there and actually be up flush up against the actual bottom of the frame rail. All right, so just to show you here progress, I got one side of the flange on my main beam notched out here, and I made it a little bit oversized, and I'll show you that in a second. So when we lift up the bar, we want it to go, we don't want it to rub on either side. I left it a little bit oversized there. And from the top, or where it's going to hit the beam, you notice that there's no more than like a millimeter of gap there. So now our bar sits right there up against the bottom of the beam, nice and flush. All right, so now both of our notches are cut, and optionally, and I would recommend it, just put a little bit of paint on it like I did here too, just to make sure the bare metal's covered. Okay, so then we're going to take one of our bushings and we're going to wrap it around our bar here. And we're going to push it kind of toward the outside. And then we're going to take one of these brackets here and just wrap it around the bushing. And then what we're going to try to do is we're going to get our bar pushed back up on the other side of our notch, all the way up where we're going to have it here, as far up against to that side as we can. And then I'm going to take my marker and I'm going to draw out this oval flange here. So last night I got the holes drilled and put some more paint inside the holes. And obviously the purpose of these holes is to fit this U-bolt in, and it's 3/8 of an inch. Now, I know a lot of you know this, but for some people that may not do a lot of fabrication, when you're drilling a 3/8 inch hole, what you do not want to do is just grab a 3/8 bit and just start drilling with this bit. It'll take you forever in thick metal. So what you want to do instead is find like a 3/16, something like that, a bit like that, a smaller sharp bit, and drill some holes, and then take a step bit, and this was the one I like to use for these smaller holes. It's a 1/2 inch step bit with long steps. And once you get that 3/16 or 1/4 inch hole, you can burn through that to the 3/8 hole in like 5 seconds. So that is absolutely the way to drill these holes. But then after that, the problem is what we're going to do is, notice in the diagram, what we're planning on doing here is we're going to put a nut on one side of this because we don't have access inside of that interior part. So just to make sure we don't lose it, and we're going to tip it in and get it into both holes. Well, to do that will be pretty hard with just a hole, because it has to be perfectly matched. So what I did was I took my tungsten carbide rasp and I elongated those holes out just a little bit to give us a little more wiggle room when trying to get this in, and you'll see in a second what I mean. So obviously the next step after we've got our holes drilled is take our U-bolt with the nut on one side just so we don't lose it in this cavity here. We're going to feed it up into here and drop it through so we have it going through both holes. And then what we'll do is, I can't do this with one hand, but we'll then get our base plate lined up onto here. Okay, so with this plate kind of loosely put on here, I'm going to go ahead and lift this bar up, and we're going to try to get this. I'm going to initially wrap my strap around it just to keep it up where I need it. Otherwise this will be a pain. So I got my strap on here and my shoulder up underneath it, and then we're just going to carefully take these nuts off and see if we can get this lined up onto here. There it is. It took a little bit of doing, but I got it loosely bolted on there. Now I'll go ahead and just tighten those down and get it all cinched in. And here we have our finished bolted in flanges here. And one thing you might notice is once I bolted them both in, I added those nice thick washers, those 3/8 washers. So what I did was I pulled out one bolt at a time, put the washer back in, and then tightened it back in. I feel like it needed those washers even though they didn't supply them. Well, that essentially is done as far as the installation. So the only thing we have to do now is just tighten everything down. For tightening things down, the shock bolts, I think the torque specs are about 20 to 25 foot-pounds. So I'm not going to use a torque wrench. I'm just going to get these nice and tight. I'm going to get these nice and tight. Now the only thing you can probably screw up is tighten or over tighten is this. So this whole thing is on this one bolt, as you remember, and I'm probably not going to go much more than I have right here. Basically what you want to do is tighten this bolt down and until all the bushings have seated really nice. But if you start seeing the bushing really squishing and bulging, you've gone too far. So just be careful with this one. It doesn't need to be tightened that much. Just get all the bushings nice and seated. So I'm going to go ahead and tighten everything down, and then we'll do our test drive. All right, we are back from our road trip, and I took a few clips off the dash cam and I might mix them in here, but let me just give you my thoughts overall on that sway bar. So one of the first things I do when I pull off my main road onto another road is there's this intersection that I take a right on very commonly, and I'll show you that. And it's got a little bit, you can't really tell from the video, but it's got a little bit of a slope into the intersection, and I always feel like I'm rolling a little bit when I'm making that right turn. Well, no change there, and it doesn't surprise me. I don't see how a rear sway bar would help with that kind of rolling on slow turns, and especially on gradients and things, because your front suspension is where you're sitting on top of, and you're just gonna feel that, right? So I don't think the rear sway bar is gonna help with slow moving turns and things like that, where you feel that body roll. However, when I got onto some faster roads, and it was a little bit windy today, and I could hear the wind whistling, and I could hear crosswinds, I did feel a lot more stable. I didn't feel like I had to compensate on the steering wheel quite as much as I did before. So I will say I think that's the sweet spot of where you're going to get some improvement with this rear sway bar, in that if all four wheels are on the road and you're making curves or you're feeling crosswinds, I think that definitely, I felt some improvement. I felt some help there and more stability in the steering wheel doing that kind of stuff. But again, low speed turns and things like that, I don't think there was any improvement. I still felt that body roll of the gradient there. But all in all, I'm happy with it. I think for the little amount of money relatively it is, I think it is definitely a good improvement and something that can definitely help you with high winds and like I said, flat road curves. I definitely do see an advantage of buying that. So anyway, that's my installation. That's my review. I hope you enjoyed it. Subscribe to the channel for more Volkswagen content, for more EV conversion content, more DIY home content, all sorts of stuff that'll be coming up. And until the next video, I'll talk to you later.